Hi everybody, it's your old pal Chuck. I'm back making videos. Have the whole internet back, so I'll be able to upload. Not sure when you'll see this, and the reason is today's video is something very special. It is being done in conjunction with the latest episode of What's on Joe Mind, which is our special flashback episode. Basically, we go back. We're looking at the pilot episode and the news and topics we discussed and going over them with a bit of distance to see what ended up happening, where were we at the time and where the community, brand, and product has gone since then. One of the things we discussed was Wave 6 of Pursuit of Cobra, so I thought it would be fun to go ahead and review the figures that I haven't reviewed yet from that wave. And starting us off is Pursuit of Cobra Crazylegs. This is one of the vintage homages that was part of the line. Basically, you had a continuation of the 25th anniversary where you had updates to classic figures, and then you had um, new figures, with based on that newer aesthetic. Clearly, Crazylegs is an homage. One thing I wanted to point out that I hope you can see is one of the reasons why I left the figure and package is Crazylegs actually came in an action pose. His legs spread very wide. His arms were actually up like he was holding a parachute. This figure's already been opened, so I moved his arms down. Hasbro back in the early 2000s had a habit of putting figures in action poses. I'm not a big fan of that. And the reason being is that actually ends up putting undue stress on the joints and what have you of the figures. They would also package the figures with weapons in their hands, but then with that clear rubber band securing them in place, that the hands would end up becoming warped and relatively useless unless you do some home remedies that ended up um, violating the warranty of the toy. Yes, there are warranties with these that you get when you purchase it, and if you're not really handy, you could end up hurting yourself or damaging the figure worse. They got pretty good with the 25th anniversary, especially towards the end, because there were complaints about the action poses and packaging the figures with the weapons in the hand, but this was a go back. And I did my best to try and negate some of the damage that could happen from having the figure in the action pose. But I wanted to show it to you like this, just in case during the review I should notice or you should notice something that seems a little off with the figure. It's not me, it's not you, it's probably how he was packaged. So this is the front of the packaging. There you have a nice little retake of the classic look of Crazylegs. Very interesting character from the old Marvel run. Apparently he was killed, but when the comic series was restarted, it turns out he was just faking it. Um, from most people I've heard, this was a mistake. Regardless, he's back. And, here's the back bio. One of the things I liked about the Pursuit of Cobra is that you had environmental themes that characters were grouped into. Crazy Lake is part of the Jungle Assault. You have his bio. Really interesting direction where they were going with Pursuit of Cobra with the themes and stuff like that. This was a great step forward from the 25th anniversary and a big step forward from the Rise of Cobra. Let's take a look at the figure. Okay, I figured we start off with a detailed look at Crazylegs. Um, Sculpting is very good on this figure. He has a lot of ruffles, a lot of folds to his suit. Um, the web gear is like your typical parachute pack, doesn't open, but a lot of nice texture here in the arms and going down across the chest. Helmet is removable, has a nice little ski cap on underneath. At first, that led me to believe that maybe he was using Lowlight's head, but no, it's a different textured hat. All in all, it's a really nice looking figure. Coming in for a closer view, we can see the nice face sculpt, the goggles. Um, Basically, the core of this body is the 25th anniversary Wave 3 Snake Eyes. You can tell because of that hole in his chest where the daggers would go. Like I said, a lot of great sculpted in details. Um, Unfortunately, a lot of this great detail affects the articulation of the figure, which we're going to get into right now. Head can fully rotate up and down. It's on a ball joint. Standard new articulation for a Joe. He's got that pin and socket joint for the arms, rotation, bend at the elbow, rotate at the elbow, rotate at the wrist. No new wrist articulation since this is basically a hodgepodge of various parts. Um, but he does have great trigger figures on both hands. Coming down, leg articulation is slightly hindered due to the crotch straps for the parachute. But you can get out to the side, forward, but as you can see, it kind of ends up angling out. He does have double jointed knees, but really that's as far as you're going to get when it comes to the bending due to the thickness of the suit. Um, you might be able to work something out a little bit better if you just bend the knee at one of the joints. Coming down to the feet, he does have the ankle rotation. No ankle pivot yet because it wasn't developed for the line. And forward and back, well, pivot, I should say there's no ankle rocker. It happens. All in all, it's a real fun figure. One of the unique things I wanted to point out before we look at Crazylegs accessories is the fact that he has two sets of peg holes. I really don't know what's that for. I don't remember them changing the standard for the pegs for the stands. Um, Perhaps this is for him to fit in with older vehicles. Not really sure. It's my experience the peg holes here that are closer to the middle of the foot tend to work better, fitting him in stands and what have you. The best way to describe Crazylegs' accessories is classic with a modern touch. Starting off, he has the old style World War II rifle. This, of course, as I'm sure you may know, saw a lot of use during the 25th anniversary line. I like it due to its modular nature with the collapsible stock. I do believe the original figure came with a rifle similar to this. Next, we move forward to the assault rifle that was very popular during the Rise of Cobra line. Many of the Joes came with it. It was used a lot in the store exclusive sets, and I even think the Pit Trooper came with it. As you can see, unfortunately, it did get a little warped in packaging. That's just the nature of the beast, but it's a great rifle. Finally, we come to this great little pistol that also was used a lot during the Rise of Cobra line. It has a little targeting sensor on it. Unfortunately, Crazylegs doesn't have a holster, so I don't see this pistol getting a lot of use. Oops, since you'll end up having Crazylegs hold a rifle, um, and that usually takes two hands. This is something I would leave in the package, which is a shame because it's really nice. In describing um, Crazylegs' accessories, I said they were classic with a modern touch, and I think that can describe this figure overall. Um, a lot of people were surprised by how great this figure came out and how much they enjoyed him. At the time, he was a relatively forgotten character. The IDW had not relaunched the Marvel continuity, so eh, for a lot of people, they skipped them over. I highly recommend this figure. You can find them for a fair price online, not that much more over retail. And I can't recommend paying over retail for him. But if you do see him at a convention, loose or on card, go ahead and pick him up. This is your old pal Chuck for Crazylegs. We'll see you next time.